is Joseph Green. I was born and raised in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Okay, start again. You know what I'm saying? People over here. No, stop. Hey, but listen, I want to talk to y'all today about the importance of making sound decisions. Because the decisions you make today can affect your tomorrow, the next week, the rest of your life. At the age of 21, I was incarcerated. I went to prison. I did some things that I shouldn't have did. It was based off the decisions I made early in my life. I went to prison the first time. I went to jail when I was about 13 years old, breaking into schools, hanging with the wrong crew, thinking I'm cool and everything. I dropped out of school in the 9th grade. Didn't even finish school. Didn't even finish. I felt that the guys that I was hanging with, we were doing a lot of stuff, so I figured that, these guys seem to be on a path of success. Well, it wasn't success. It seemed like it was because they had the money, the cars, and, things like that. It was all a dream. I said I went to prison when I was 21 years old. I did 16 months. Before I went to prison, I had a son. 1996, my son was born. I didn't see my son until 1997. The very next year, he was 14 months old. Guess where I saw him at? In jail. That was a hard decision for me, sitting there, looking at my son behind the glass. But while I was there, I took advantage of the time I was there. I only did 16 months. I took advantage of it. I got my GED. I was only locked up for 4 months. 4 months after I got locked up, I got my GED. As time went on, I began to educate myself. I learned a lot of the same thing that y'all learned today, I learned in jail. STDs, the importance of controlling your anger, the importance of being surrounded with positive people that will speak life into you, not people who will talk about negative things and try to pursue those things. I got out of prison after doing 16 months in August of 1998. Y'all were, some of y'all weren't even born then. Who was it? Okay, look, 1998. So some of y'all were born then. A lot of y'all wasn't even born. I'm gonna share some things. I'm gonna share some photos with y'all and some serious stuff. I got out in August of 1998. September 14th, the very next month, the feds picked me up. Yeah, through the letter, what they call them alphabet boys. Y'all know what I'm talking about. The DA knocked on the door. Said, man, we got a warrant for your arrest. I was like, what? I didn't do anything, when I got out of jail. He said, don't worry about it. This is something that you did before you went to jail the first time. So it was the decisions I had made as a young man that caused me to get locked up 3, 4, 5 years later. See, I thought all that stuff was behind me. Selling drugs. And everybody know, y'all know what I'm talking about. Selling drugs. Y'all know people sell drugs. It ain't cool. That life that they living right now is all gonna come to the end, trust me. One or two ways. Either prison or death. And for me, going to prison really was a blessing. It really was a blessing because a lot of guys that I deal with on a regular basis, getting in shootouts, fighting all the time, drinking, drugging, doing everything that I should have been doing. A lot of those guys are not here today. And we were young. Real young. I get locked up. Now keep in mind, I was only out 32 days. Can you imagine just doing 16 months in jail and then get locked right back up? Remember I told you I had a son at the time. I had a son at the time. He was a year old. I only got to spend a little bit of time in the free world with my son. Just a little bit. Just enough. He don't even remember the time we spent. He don't even remember. I'm going to pass some business around to you. And I want y'all to just think about the decisions that you make today. Everything that Yvonne said and everybody that has said something before I got up here is really important. There's someone trying to destroy you every day because you have a purpose. You have destiny. You have people in your life that are going to be changed through you that you will never meet. Just off of basic, something you might post on Facebook, a positive word of encouragement that might change their life. You might never get a chance to meet them. It's important that you take heed to the decisions you make, the people you hang out with. It will affect your life. I'm going to pass this around. This right here is my driving license for prison. No, I'm just joking. I ain't had no driving license for prison. It's my prison ID. See, when you go to prison, you lose everything. Everything. You don't get to choose anything. They give you the clothes to wear, and they're not gonna be new. Let me ask you a question. Would you like to wear his drawers? Why not? Because he been doing it, right? Well, if you go to jail, and the young man that's sitting there with you, he gonna say, hey man, put these on. They're gonna tell you to put them on. You're like, man, put them on. And you're gonna put them on. Imagine wearing somebody else's stuff all the time. Well, you know there's consequences to that thing. You lose everything. There's no more, I'm gonna watch what I want to watch on TV, eat when I want to eat, go to sleep when I want to go to sleep, hang out with my friend, get on Facebook, Instagram, none of that. You don't do any of that. You lose all of that. Can you imagine being around guys who talk negative all day long, negative stuff, talking about the same thing that got them locked up, they still want to talk about. Some habits are hard to break. But I made a decision while I was in prison to say, man, I can't do this. How long am I going to keep making the same stupid mistakes? Not being able to see my family. So I got a lot of in North Carolina. Coming from Florida and North Carolina. Y'all not going to believe how much time they gave me. I was 23 years old. I went to trial, got found guilty. They sentenced me to 324 months. You can't even add it up, smile. I'm gonna help you. It's 27 years. I wasn't even 24. But I got 27 years. I didn't kill anybody. I didn't do that. All of it was because of some of the associations that I had. I didn't get caught with any drugs. I didn't get caught with any guns, any money, none of that. It was a case that took place before I got my first charge. So what happened was, they had a group of people that said, hey, man, JoJo, he got that weight. A lot of them were lying. He got weed, he got power, he got this, he got guns, he got all that. Some of them were true. But when a person is in trouble, they say whatever they say. They say some people tell them their mom. So I'm not in any relation to him. So they're like, yeah, JoJo, man, he's from Florida. He don't supposed to be up here now. My trial lasted 3 days. 3 days to prove my innocence. I was found guilty. 27 years old. 23 years old, 27 years. So of course I get shipped to prison. Now, when you think about prison, think about some of the bad movies you see on TV. Right? Hey, that's something. Look, this was so crazy. When I was on my way to prison, that was the song that was playing. I ran into so many men. I ran into old guys that had went to prison when they were young, that did 30, 40 years. I ran into guys that had life sentences, that'll never see the street again, that are still locked up right now. See, the time I had for a man that got a life sentence, be like, man, I don't want you around me, man. Don't talk about family. Don't talk about you going home. They don't want to hear that because they never go home. See what I'm saying? So I'm on a bus headed to Maryland. Place I had never been. I rode through Maryland, but I'd never been there. I get up there, it's all woods and mountains. So I'm like, wow, what in the world? So it's not new. The scenery is not new because I had just went to prison. But the time I had was, all I could think about was my son. My sons. It's like, you know, I'll never be able to see them graduate. I'll never be able to attend any parent-teacher conferences. I'll never be able to be at any birthday parties. I'll never be able to be there when they fall and hurt themselves to help them. I'll never be able to be there. This picture right here, I want y'all, this is the order right here. This is how my son looked when I first went to prison. I just actually, when I got out of state prison, I was able to buy those pants and shoes for him. The little time I was out, I was able to buy that for him. But look at the growth. See how they go from little babies to, I'm missing all of that. Playing football. All I get is pictures. I get to talk to him on the phone. You know how long it was before I got a chance the first time to see my son after being locked up? 5 years. So for 5 years, all I could do was talk to my son, hear his voice, and see pictures of him, but never able to touch his face, to hug him. Can you imagine being away from your parents that long? Huh? Man, it was rough. It was rough. So in my mind, I'm thinking, man, how did I get myself in this situation? And the only thing I could think of was the decisions I made. See, all those nights I'm hanging with the boys, man, we hanging out, stealing cars, breaking into houses, robbing people, beating up people, taking their money. That was cool. At least I thought it was. See, I wasn't like the young man who sat next to me in class and did all the work, the one I thought was a square. He's a millionaire right now. Me? I'm in prison. I went to prison. I'm like, man, it was rough. Look at it growing. And pass that break. Look how they're growing up. See now, they don't grow up that fast. It took years. It took years. So I went from Maryland, in Maryland prison, where I didn't know anybody. I didn't know what to expect because I'm in a federal prison. So a lot of that stuff you see on TV about prisons, a lot of it is true. So you don't have the homeboy that you would run to and say, hey man, look, man, such and such over here, man, just try it. No. You don't have that. You pretty much by yourself. So what you did by yourself, that leaves you vulnerable. See what I'm saying? Well, you got to click the dudes over here and say, hey man, what's up, bro? I like them shoes you got on. Take them off. What you gonna do? You gonna fight, right? You got to. Would you want to put yourself in that situation? Not at all. So it's important that the decisions you make, it's not just about prison. It's not just about prison. The decisions you make can change your life, man. I mean, for the worse. It can change your life for the worse. See, our parents, I know a lot of times when they say don't sound right. Like, man, come on, Mom. You just don't understand. Dad, look, I know it. Yeah, you was my age. It's true. If I just had listened to my mother when she told me, baby, don't be out there like that. Leave them drugs alone. The streets are always calling. It don't matter about your age, your ethnicity, or your gender. Remember I said that somebody was always out to destroy you. Satan is on a rampage every day. I know y'all watch the news. Y'all see what's going on in Atlanta. Y'all see what's going on all over the world without you. You guys are the leaders of the future. I don't care what nobody has said over your life that's negative. Don't receive it. Somebody say, well, you can't do it. Who? Tell them who. Who can't do it? I can do anything I put my mind to. Because you can. It doesn't matter what you've done. It's not too late. But if you're thinking about doing something crazy, don't do it. Take it from me. Now, say I was sitting in 27 years, if you did the math from 1998 to right now, there's no way in the world I would be out, right? There goes some more. Look at my son. Look how big they got now. Look. See how big? They going, look, bigger than I am now. They went from like this now. Don't do it. It's not worth it. When your mom tell you, your parents tell you something that you might feel like is a hassle or they're getting on your nerves, trust me. They're telling you something for the best, for your best interest. Because we've been through it. I didn't understand that. I went from Maryland to Virginia. In Virginia, I decided, man, listen, I got to do something better with my life. Even though I still had a lot of time, I was still praying, and I began to surround myself with people who were positive, men that had a will to want to do right, who want to get out of prison and make a difference. Because we saw so many young men. I remember the first time I was in the first young man I ran into with a life sentence, he was 18 years old. 18. He got locked up when he was 16, and the feds waited to pick him up until he became an adult. So from the time he was 16 until now, if he's still alive, you'll never see the truth. Never see the truth. There was a point where my son, he wanted to start experimenting with the drugs. And I started smoking a little bit, drinking. You know, that hurt me real bad. Mom, I just having a car, he say, yeah, you need to talk to your son. He's starting to smoke. I said, what? So I talked to him, of course, you know what y'all do. I'm smoking. No, nothing. He denied it. He get locked up at school. Guess what? 7 weeks. He got hot. He been locked up. Yeah, he got locked up for 7 weeks. Good thing the person that locked him up wasn't the police. It was a staff that had kind of experienced some of the same things, so he didn't want him to go through the system. Talk to him. I talked to him. Told my son if I had all the money in the world, I would have given it just to be with him. Just to be out so I can be a part of his life. In 2002, my sentence was remanded for resentencing. They took 7 years off my sentence. A case came out and I was able to receive the benefits of it. So they took 7 years. That left me with how much? How much? That left me with 20 years. Still, that's a lot of time, right? Now at the time, in 2002, I had only been locked up 4 years. So I'm like, oh, that's like 15 and some change left. 14 and some change left. I'm like, man, it's still a long time. But as I'm in there, guess what? My son's still growing, right? Still growing. I thank God to this day, my son, he listened to me. That particular incident he had with the drugs, he took advantage of what I said and left it alone. He was failing and everything. It was the crowds he was hanging with. And I told him, I said, man, I already know. You can't tell me what you're doing. I already know what you're doing. Because I know if it's drugs, you're not just using drugs by yourself. How you get them? You ain't drinking by yourself. I don't know anybody who's drinking by themselves. You know what I'm saying? Everything you do with somebody. So he broke down and told me everything. So he got life on track. Grades began to pick up. Everything began to get back in line. But he still feel like, man, I'm a dip and dab and this and that. In 2011, President Obama, he signed a law that affected a lot of men and women in prison. Oh yeah, women. Y'all young women, y'all young ladies. Y'all know y'all go to prison too, right? It's more women that have gone to prison in the last 7 years than it has ever. The percentages have just increased. So many women are going to jail. They're leaving their children behind. They're leaving their families. Mothers, I mean, it don't make a difference. It don't make a difference. It doesn't matter. If you're going to do it, be prepared to face the consequences. Well, why go through it? Why go through it? So President Obama, he signed a law back in 2011. I received the benefits of it last year. January, I got a sentence reduction. Cut my time all the way down to like 30-something months off my sentence. Almost 2.5 years. I was like, God, that's a blessing. I ended up doing 14.5 years. Some of y'all ain't even 14 years old. So y'all weren't even born. Some of y'all might be 14 right now. So when you were born, I was just going to prison. You just going to prison. It's not worth it. Why waste 14 years? What? I can't say waste. But why be taken away from your family? Why hurt those who love you the most? You don't have to. And guess what? If I wouldn't have got my sentence reduced, guess when I would have got out of prison? 2021. I still got 7 more years. See what I'm saying? I'm still supposed to be in prison. But the grace of God allowed me to come out because God knew, number one, my heart had changed. And number two, that I couldn't just hold my tongue. I got to share it with anybody that I can. Especially y'all. Especially y'all. It don't make a difference. These people passing laws every day. When you are asleep, there are laws that are being passed to incarcerate you. Like Yvonne said, there's statistics. They know when you're in elementary school, how you doing, how you acting. They know based off of your conduct in elementary school, where you live, where you from, your background, where you're going to be 10, 15 years from now. They already know mapped it out. That's what they think. That's what they think. But y'all don't have to become a statistic. You can say today, man, listen, yeah, I know it's cool and everything, dog. Holla at you. I gotta go, man. I'm looking at my future. 5 years from now, I don't want you to even answer this. Think about this. Where you want to be in 5 years? Just think about it. Think about it. Just think about it. See, your success is based off of what you decide. Not based off statistics. Not based off what negative people say. Not based off what your so-called friends say. It's based off of what you decide. You can choose to be the success, or you can choose not to. Because you got to understand one thing. With every action, there's a consequence. Be it good or bad. Every decision you make, there's always going to be an outcome, whether it's good or bad. I can choose to do something good for somebody and get a good response. Or I can choose to do the negative and get the negative response. Like if I come to you and say, hey man, let me get the seat. I can get negative. I say, hey, excuse me, brother, can I get the chair, man? This young lady trying to sit down. What you do? Did you get to it? See what I'm saying? It's just based off that. That's simple. This is my son, I got to see him last year. As a free man. My first picture with my son outside of prison. My son graduates this month. I'm going to his graduation. First time I get to go to anything that he's ever accomplished. Graduating. I'm so proud of him. All that time I spent being away from his life, but being in his life, not in the physical, but over the telephone, through letters, encouraging them. Both of them. Doing really good at school. Great athletes. Grades are great. And it's all based off of what I decided to do. Had I continued to hang out with some of the negative guys in prison, I may have never got that sentence reduction. Because God holds the key. He holds the key. You have to decide today. Tomorrow is not promised. Tomorrow is not promised. You have to decide whether or not you're going to become a statistic or your future will be the way you want it. How many want to be successful in it? All of you. Guess what? All of you gonna be successful. I believe it. I believe it. I want y'all to remember one thing. One thing. The person that's sitting next to you, in the back of you, on the side of you, y'all have to work together. We can't get there by ourselves. It has to be an effort to help someone. I didn't get here by myself. Now, since I've been out of prison, I've been to several plays. I'm trying to do some acting, on the film side of it. I've been speaking at different places. Try to just get the message out. I also write. I sing too. See, all this stuff I didn't know I could do. I'm gonna share a song with y'all. I'm gonna share a song with y'all. But look, I didn't know I could do this stuff. See, it took for me to go to prison to learn what I had on the inside that I could have used to get money the right way. You see what I'm saying? I'm a barber too. I mean, I'm tough. Yeah, I do color. I do women's hair too. You know what I'm saying? Who need highlights? You need some highlights, some color like that? No. But I do it all. But see, what I'm saying is, you don't have to go through struggles and trials and all that stuff like that to find out what's on the inside to be successful. You don't have to. You got the opportunity right now, to make a difference. I'm gonna share this song, but I need y'all help. I need y'all help. All right, the chorus is simple. The chorus is simple. It goes like this. Who am I? Y'all say that. Who am I? Now, hold up. Come on, I know some of y'all are singing in choir now. I'm the choir director. I'm gonna be the choir director right now. All right, here we go. We're gonna clap. Y'all clap. Hold on one second. I'm gonna let y'all catch it. But the chorus is simple. It just says, who am I? You say this. When I point to you, I need you to say, who am I? Faster than that. Who am I? Alright, one more time. Who am I? Alright, here we go. Tell me what's going on out here in the streets. People robbing and stealing. They got no food to eat. We gotta get it together. No matter the weather. Yeah, we're strong from the womb, man. Tougher than leather. If we don't, selling yourself short when you say the sky's the limit. Because there's so much more beyond the sky. So much more beyond the sky. You guys have talents that can blow this world away. There's so much on the inside of you. Draw it out. You don't have to always go through the fire to get the purification of gold. You don't have to always go through the fire. Let somebody else learn from somebody else's mistakes. If I had learned from someone else's mistake, man, no telling where I'd be right now. No telling. No telling. I just want to leave y'all with that, man. I hope y'all succeed. And I want to bless y'all, man. Y'all will become a blessing on the earth. God is going to do some great things in y'all way. For real. For real. God bless you.